Morning. Hello. It is January 12th. It is a Sunday, playoff Sunday. We're heading toward the Super Bowl. So there was a couple games yesterday. Kind of boring. There's 3 games today, 1 game tomorrow. Let the games begin. So it is Sunday, January 12th, and this live, of course. I am Steve O.C., and we are going over A Course in Miracles. We're using Course in Miracles. Good morning. Our first one, Burning Up Time. Hi, goodbye. Boy, that was quick. We are using the Course in Miracles, talking about the Course in Miracles just as a framework and a foundation for basically a spiritual and metaphysical discussion. I think it's important to recognize the fact, and of course, a lot of people do recognize the fact, and the dialogues and the discussions are obviously happening more and more and more and more people are turning inward to a spiritual orientation in the world today. In my humble opinion, the vibration of the planet is rising, and this is a period of transition into the Aquarian age. And so what we are witnessing at this point is something that's happening on a collective level that may have been happening to you or people you know on an individual level. And of course, that is the turn inward and the turn toward a spiritual or metaphysical point of view, as you know, if you've engaged in that sort of a practice, any sort of a spiritual practice. Of course, you soon discover that you have to do shadow work using the vernacular of Carl Jung. You have to deal with the parts of yourself that have been rejected, the parts of the self that have been hidden. And in A Course in Miracles, this is identified as the parts of myself that I believe are separate from God. It's the ego, mind. Course in Miracles makes a distinction by saying that your mind is split. Your mind is split, and you don't even know it. You don't realize it. You've been using an operating system, which the ego identifies as, which the Course in Miracles identifies as the ego mind, which is closely associated with the body. And you have been using that operating system to look at the world, to form your beliefs about the world. And guess what? It is upside down and backwards. You have reversed the true nature of perception. I have reversed the true nature of perception. And so we're using this book, this text, these workbook exercises to, as it says in the introduction, the preface, and throughout the text and throughout the workbook, we're using these exercises and this book to reverse the thought process under which we are currently operating. So I have worked with a group of people for many years, 20 plus years, going over the Course in Miracles one night a week, Monday nights. I used to hang out with my brothers and sisters in Los Angeles. There are many of my brothers and sisters in many other cities across the United States who have worked with this book and worked on the ideas contained in this book. So Exactly as the book says, I don't know anything that you don't already know. It's a matter of remembering, it's a matter of waking up. And if some of this is new to you, or if some information comes through me that maybe you haven't heard before, or may seem challenging, whatever it is, or also even if you agree with it, it just means that I have come to it. There's been some sort of synchronicity employed to bring us together. I do not know anything that you do not know yourself. I am a reflection of you. You are a reflection of me. Of course, we understand this. The Course in Miracles says the teacher and the learner, uses that terminology, are on the same level. I also have mentioned, I like the way Krishnamurti put it when he was giving his lectures, when he was giving his dialogues and information. He would refer to himself as the speaker, and he would say the speaker is not any different than you, while he was talking to people who had gathered in an audience. So, great preface there. A few minutes just starting up, 5 minutes at the top. A lot of stuff going on in the world, and on this channel, and as we go through this material, and on other social media platforms, the idea for me and the idea of a spiritual practice is to build a foundation that cannot, a peace, right, that cannot be disturbed, a peace that passes understanding. So the idea of being involved in this, the idea of practicing this. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate that. Broken Butterfly, thank you. Everybody who's in here, yeah, hit the screen a few times, get some likes up there. We've been getting around 500 or 600 likes. You can hit the screen several times, and they'll go up there, and you can hit it more than once if you like. Also, please join this channel. Follow this channel. We're going to be expanding to the other social media platforms. I don't think this one's going to get shut down. We'll see what happens, but I don't think so. And yeah, let's just, build a community. Doesn't have to be a big deal. It could be a very loose community, or not. It could be even a little bit tighter. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to us. So let's go to lesson 12 from Course in Miracles. Today is Sunday, January 12th, so the Course in Miracles suggests one lesson per day, and no more than one lesson per day. Although if you find a lesson particularly interesting or effective, it says you can work with that lesson for more than one day. It says, lesson 12, I am upset because I see a meaningless world. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Lesson 11 from yesterday said my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Now today, we're admitting I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. Let's see how the Course breaks that thought down. It says the importance of this idea lies in the fact that it contains a correction for a major perceptual distortion. Contains a correction. You think that what upsets you is a frightening world, or a sad world, or a violent world, or an insane world, okay? You think you're upset. You think I think I feel bad. You think you feel bad. We think we feel bad because there are fires basically destroying the city of Los Angeles right now. I lived out in Los Angeles for the last 24 years. I just recently moved away, interestingly enough. I'm now in the Midwest, but I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. Okay, that kind of destruction, that kind of wholesale destruction, that sort of apocalyptic scene Course is telling me I think I'm upset because of what I see outside of me. All of these attributes of the world, the crazy world, the insane world, are all these attributes are given the world by you. The world is meaningless in itself. And we've sort of been establishing that line of thought through the first 12 lessons. The number 12, uh, right? Important number, sign of the zodiac, the apostles, the gates to Jerusalem, the number 12, corporate wholeness, I would call it. So we've gone through 12 lessons and we're establishing, thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. Maybe Cami, thanks, maybe Cami. And keep hitting that screen if you're in the room or if you pass through the room. Come on in, hit that screen. Let's get a few more likes. I appreciate it. Okay, very quickly, it says, do these exercises with your eyes open, look around you, and basically just let your eyes stop on objects around the room and repeat the phrase for the day. As you look about you, say to yourself, I think I see a fearful world, a dangerous world, a hostile world, a wicked world, a crazy world. It says, and so on, using whatever descriptive terms happen to occur to you. The terms, if the terms which seem positive rather than negative occur to you, include them. I think I see a beautiful world. I think I see a happy world. I think I see a world where people will help each other after a disaster. What it says here is if such terms occur to you, use them along with the rest. You may not yet understand why these nice adjectives belong in these exercises, but remember that a good world implies a bad world, and a satisfying world implies an unsatisfying world. All terms which cross your mind are suitable subjects for today's exercises. Their seeming quality does not matter. Then it says, after you look around the room and say, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world, or I am upset because I think I see a meaningless world. I'm upset because I think I see a meaningless world. Then you're going to say, but you're going to repeat the phrase for the day. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Now it says, then it quickly summarizes, well, why are you doing this exercise? What is meaningless is neither good or bad. Why then should a meaningless world upset you? If you could accept the world as meaningless and let the truth be written upon it for you, it would make you indescribably happy. So it's introducing the idea here, of course, that if a cup is full, nothing else can be put into the cup. You've heard that before. So I have to empty the cup so it can be filled up with the new liquid, new emotions, the new thoughts. If my cup is full, if I think I know, then nothing new can be introduced. If you could accept the world as meaningless and let the truth be written upon it for you, it would make you indescribably happy. But because it is meaningless, you are impelled to write upon it what you would have it be. It is this you see in it. So, it's sort of this idea of, oh, I can't stand the silence. If I'm in the car or on the phone with somebody and there's a moment of silence, I think I have to fill it up, right? I think I have to talk. I think I have to say something. Often hear people talk about this if they're salespeople or they're talking about negotiations, and they'll tell you that silence is power, right? Don't say anything. Ask the question, then be quiet, right? So here it's saying the world is meaningless. The objects in the world are meaningless. What's it getting at? Well, it's getting at the idea that this is a dream, right? This is a simulation. This is a holodeck. Our minds, collectively and individually, are creating a world. We are walking around in the movie. We are Forrest Gump. We are Zealot, if you're a Woody Allen fan, right? We are walking around in the world we have created. It says you are impelled to write upon it what you would have it be. It is this you see in it. It is this that is meaningless in truth. Beneath your words, beneath my ideas, beneath your words is written the word of God. The truth upsets you now, but when your words have been erased, you will see God's. This is the ultimate purpose of these exercises. It says, practice these exercises 3 or 4 times during the day. Don't practice too long. Don't worry about it too much. It says, don't make this ritualistic. Don't make it an obsession. What's up, Sully Dog? What's up, Little Panther? Wow, some interesting people showing up with interesting names, at least. Way to go. And of course, user 57057. I think I've seen you before. And they're here too. So now let's go to the text. The 12th section of the text is chapter 2, section 5, which is entitled The Function of the Miracle Worker. The function of the miracle workers. So this is a course in miracles. This is a curriculum, we are told, that we have to take. Everyone has to take it. Basically, the Course in Miracles says we've put ourselves in an impossible situation. We've put ourselves in a situation where we think God is not with us, where we think God does not exist. And it also clarifies the fact that maybe you know that God exists, but you are more than just this individual body, this individual consciousness. Everyone has to understand that God exists. Everyone has to understand that we are all created from the same source. And so the Course in Miracles, which we'll read here in just a minute, says the atonement, the at-oneness, the atonement, the at-one-ment. The oneness with God has to be shared by everyone and everything. The recognition of that idea and the return to the actual experience of that has to be remembered by everyone. So it may take a minute, the Course says. Right? The great work. We have our work cut out for us. It is the great work. Once I wake up, once I start vibrating at a higher vibration, now, see, does this look familiar? 1 finger or 2 fingers. Huh? Once I start vibrating at a higher vibration, once I get it, now I'm here to distribute that vibration, to radiate that vibration, to share that idea. The function of the miracle worker, chapter 2, section 5, before miracle workers are ready to undertake their function in this world, it is essential that they fully understand the fear of release. Otherwise, they may unwittingly foster the belief that release is imprisonment, a belief that is already very prevalent. This misperception arises in turn from the belief that harm can be limited to the body. That is because the underlying fear, that is because of the underlying fear that the mind can hurt itself. None of these errors is meaningful. So we learned the last couple days in the text that the level of healing, that the place where healing actually takes place is in the mind. The spirit is already perfect. The body follows the instructions of the mind. The body follows from the mind. So the mind, the soul, okay, is the place where the transformation happens. The spirit is perfect. The mind can be transformed, and then the body follows along. Not only the individual body, but the body of the world in general, follows from the correct thinking. So there is an underlying fear that the mind can't hurt itself. That is the idea of sin, according to Course in Miracles. And sin is an idea in the context of this book and this text. Sin is the idea that thought cannot be changed, that the idea of my guilt, the idea of your guilt cannot be changed. You are damned, you know. Okay, I am damned. You're going to hell. We're going to hell. Welcome, all you Catholic, recovering Catholics. Welcome. Yes, we are going to hell because we're sinners, and that's not going to change. Kind of a contradiction in the church, of course, because Christ died for our sins, and so we've been redeemed. But still, you're going to hell. You might go to hell. Right? When you start asking those questions when you're 10 years old at the parochial school, they don't want to hear it. Okay? That's when the ruler comes out. So, back to the text of Course in Miracles. It says none of these errors is meaningful. In other words, incorrect thinking is not meaningful because you can change your thoughts. I can change my thoughts. This recognition is a far better protective device than any form of level confusion because it introduces correction at the level of the error in the mind. It is essential to remember that only the mind can create, and that correction belongs at the thought level. Magic is the mindless or miscreative use of the mind. I have already said that miracles are expressions of miracle mindedness, and miracle mindedness means right mindedness. Okay? A healer who relies on his own readiness is endangering his understanding. This is an important paragraph, paragraph 4. You are perfectly safe as long as you are completely unconcerned about your readiness or my own capability or my own abilities. It says you're perfectly safe as long as you are completely unconcerned about your readiness, but maintain a consistent trust in mine. If your miracle working inclinations are not functioning properly, it is always because fear has intruded upon your right mindedness and has turned it upside down. All forms of not right mindedness are the result of refusal to accept the atonement for yourself. If you do accept it, my oneness with God, if I do accept it, I am in a position to recognize that those who need healing are simply those who have not realized that right mindedness is healing. The sole responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for himself. I don't have to change anyone or anything except myself. Okay? We all know that. We all understand that if we are involved in spiritual practice, metaphysical practice. The only thing I can change is myself. The only thing I can change is my own mind. When I change my own mind, the outer circumstances will change. Uh, This means you recognize the mind is the only creative level and that its errors are healed by the atonement. Once you accept this, your mind can only heal by denying your mind any destructive potential and reinstating its purely constructive powers. You place yourself in a position to undo the level of confusion of others. The message you then give to them is the truth that their minds are similarly constructive and their miscreations cannot hurt them. By affirming this, you release the mind from over evaluating its own learning device, the body, and restore the mind to its true position as the learner. It should be emphasized the body does not learn any more than it creates. And there's 7, 8, 9, 10 paragraphs here. You can find the Course in Miracles online at ACIM, CourseInMiracles.org. That is the website of the Foundation for Inner Peace, who publishes the Course in Miracles. Or you can order the book or go get the book yourself and follow along. It is an outstanding text. It is a kind of text that every time you read it, it changes because you're changing, and then the text changes, right? So I am here every day at 11 a.m. Central Time to just create a space that we can all come together and experience a vibration of peace, happiness, joy, fulfillment. The nature of this live will begin to change over time, of course. I also take these lives and upload them to my YouTube channel, which is SVC2011 on YouTube. Please go over there, subscribe to that, follow that, and check out some of these. Go back there every so often and see what we're talking about if you miss the live. Follow me on TikTok. Hopefully TikTok will stick around. I think it'll stick around. And here's the last thought about that. Let's say TikTok doesn't stick around. It's not the external thing. It's not this platform, although we enjoy this platform. Right? The platform is a symbol. The platform is an outpicturing of an inner connection that has been made, right? It cannot be taken away in reality. It's interesting, some of those arguments made in front of the Supreme Court. Of course, those are all aspects of myself. Supreme Court justices, people in the government, those lawyers, they're all trying to, as Michael Beckwith says, arrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. That is, they're trying to make the external world equitable, fair, and they're trying to arrange the external world to fit the ideas in their heads. If it comes down to the fact that the government, which is me, which is you, which is us, it's even defined that way externally, of course, but internally, obviously, the government is inside of me. All those people that represent the government represent something inside of me. I think of it in a certain way. I think of the government as the part of me, it's kind of a substitute for God, isn't it? It's sort of the secular representation of God, isn't it? Which is, why we start to see how politicians think about themselves, right? When we start criticizing them, it's like, wow, those guys think they're God. They think they control me. They think they control the world. To me, in one aspect, the government, of course, is if I don't examine it, if I don't look at it, sort of unconsciously, the government is a representation of God. Government is a substitute for the idea of God, all powerful, all controlling. Uh, the Leviathan, it's huge, it's all encompassing, right? These are all distorted images of God. Now, is it possible that God doesn't want us talking about God? The idea that the government can ban a social media platform and then use that banning of the social media platform to halt discourse, to stop discourse, to kind of stop the awakening, right? Disrupt the awakening that's happening in the world. It can't be done. If I realize, you know, that is simply a reflection of me trying to stop myself. That is simply a reflection externally of my own inner reluctance to go even deeper into the Christ mind, even deeper into awesome power, awesome strength, awesome peace, incredible love. It's my own fear of that. It's being reflected in the world. So that's the way I like to think about things. That's the way I think A Course in Miracles helps me to think about things. So those are the kind of things we can't discuss here. We will discuss here. So thanks for stopping by. Remember, you can go to YouTube. Remember to follow me on TikTok and follow me on other social media platforms. We will continue the discussion no matter what happens. The discussion and the awakening cannot be interrupted, cannot be stopped, no matter what form it proceeds in. So have a great day. Enjoy the football games and enjoy the playoffs and enjoy your chips and salsa and your pizzas and your chicken wings. Okay, peace and blessings. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.